I'm rising up now. Been up for a little while. I done had a little coffee, but I'm still laying down. And I wanted to process some thoughts. Y'all probably not up yet. What time is it? So it's 7:49 Eastern time. So that means it's 6:49 Central time, and probably even earlier. If you're in California or you know in the mountain areas. But anyway, this year I definitely want to move differently. Two things that I know that I want to do is get into sewing, like do some sewing, and make some statements through clothing. I want to make more statements through clothing, and I want to amplify a message of wholeness and helping people to look at things through a more broader and inclusive lens using stand up comedy as a medium. And so, just to be clear, I want to repeat that. I want to use, I want to make statements through fashion this year. I did want to do a podcast. Don't know how that's going to work unless I get a job, because we'll get to that. We'll double back to the podcast. But two things I definitely want to do is make bolder statements through fashion. So that means I have to, focus on my diet, um, so that I can be able to make the clothing that I want to use to make the statements I want to make. That's a priority. Working with fashion and also expanding the message of wholeness, honoring everything within ourselves by, starting to share my stories at open mics that allow for stand-up comedy. So that's those are two things that I definitely want to do this year. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do as a way of having community more involved. When you come on, make sure you click that thumbs up button, okay? So you can help me get through the algorithm. But one of the things that I wanted to do was a podcast this year. I really did. And the podcast, I wanted to go around, having conversations with different people in the black queer community, is specifically. And I wanted to talk about how this patriarchal religion has impacted us. Yeah, there's no smoke detector in the video. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I, what are you talking about? There's no smoke detector noise. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to travel and I wanted to do a podcast that talked about how, we are oftentimes isolated and how we are discarded in community if we do not connect with patriarchal monotheistic religions. And I've been looking at grants, and unfortunately, the grant making process is like, I appreciate the fact that they want us to be groups, like they want it to be groups of people. But because the work that I'm doing is so revolutionary and at times very radical and controversial, most people are followers and they follow what's safe. They really do. And so a lot of people that support me in the work that I do they show up because there's money available. They show up because there is a funding opportunity. But when there's no money involved, those people are not around. Those people do not take, and we saw an example of that this year with the relationship that was severed earlier this year. That person, even when it came to the money, they got their check and that was a wrap. Like, people don't, like, I don't want to work with people who only show up for the money. Because if you only here for the money, then is your work really, is this really what you, is this something you really have faith in? Is this something that you really want to see happen? Like, so many of us have been so programmed, looking at things through a patriarchal lens, looking at things through a westernized lens, looking at things through this colonial lens. We only show up for the check. And even though your work is good, is it authentic? Like, are you really about change? Like, are you really about healing? Are you really about restoration? Like, is this work the type of work that actually shifts? Or is it just more work to maintain what is? Like, that's what a lot of this, that's what a lot of people's work amounts to in society. They have the education, they have the tools to be able to get the job done, but does it really move the needle? Does it really shift anything? Like, we've seen so many um funding opportunities pop up in the trans community, in the black trans movement. We've seen so many funding opportunities pop up, yet here we are, 2025, having our rights stripped, having diversity and inclusion taken away. All of this stuff is still being taken away with all these opportunities that we've had. So, did it really create a shift? Did it really move the needle? People doing the work, but is the work really creating a tangible change? Or is it just giving us money and resources to have experiences within the same paradigm, within the same struggle? Like, have we literally just been in a gingerbread house this whole time, getting fattened up before the witch put us in the motherfucking oven? For layman's terms. Because that's what it's giving. Has this whole past, ever since the tipping point, ever since Laverne was on the cover of Time magazine, has this whole season just been us in the witch's house, eating snacks, getting fattened up before we go into the oven? Because that story of Hansel and Gretel, it really just resonates with me in the trans community. Like, how the trans community is like, we were Hansel and Gretel. We went into the woods. We were starving at home. We wasn't getting what we needed. We went into the woods. We found this house, the land of milk and honey. So many opportunities, which is the food, so much resources, and just getting fattened up before we go into the oven. That's what it's giving. And so I'm just really disenchanted by the funding process, because a lot of, like I said, a lot of people that you work with, their work is amazing. They're good at what they do. Some of them went to school for it. Some of them have good education. Some of them have, tools, but it doesn't mean anything to them. It doesn't mean, and this is why, and it's so unfortunate to live in a reality where so many people are afraid to think outside of the box. So many people are afraid to go against the system, to actually challenge the system. So many people are afraid to be radical. And that's one thing that I give the Republican Party. That's one thing that you got to give to the Republican Party. They ain't afraid. They like the Republican Party say we ain't come here to make friends. We ain't going along to get along. This is what we're about, and this is what we're about to do, and we gonna stand on business. Everybody else is this passive aggressive, it's this complacentness, it's this I'm afraid to say I'm gonna keep my head down. I ain't gonna say too much. I'm just trying to get my coins and go home. I don't wanna be a target. I don't want a bullseye on me. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep it cute. Like everybody else is like giving this energy, but so many people are frustrated because we already see what the outcome about to be. We already see where we're headed back. Like people who are paying attention, y'all know where this is going. Y'all know how this ends up. Y'all know how this story is about to end. Y'all know what you we know what it's about to get. We can see it. The man did a Nazi pose at the inauguration. The man did a Nazi pose. Come on. He did a Nazi pose. Then Trump, like it's just so amazing to me. We talk about kings, and we talk about the Lord, and we talk about master, and we talk about, we use that language. Oh, thank you, master. Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, king. Oh, thank you, father. And then when y'all get y'all fathers, then when y'all get y'all kings, when y'all get y'all good lords, when y'all get y'all little masters, hey, Grand Rising 100% pure love. When y'all get y'all masters, when you get your good lords, when you get your kings, you feeling away. You feeling like you feeling like you've been disrespected. You feeling like somebody playing in your face. When you get your kings and your good lords and your masters, you clutching your pearls because you can't believe you're being treated like this. But this is constantly what you was praying for. This is what you was wishing for. If you had one wish, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. And you're getting it. Oh, Father God, come right now. We need you right now. Oh, good. We need the Lord right now. We need the Lord more than ever. And now your lords are coming. Your lords are here. Your white oligarchy, your aristocratic, elitist, fascist, capitalist. They're here for you. They're rising up to set things back the way they were. And y'all acting like y'all, where did this come from? There's life and death in the power of the tongue, and you have been casting that spell. Y'all have been like the little people in the town of who was gathered around the Christmas tree talking about some fa hoo rah. That's what y'all been doing. Y'all been helping to make this stuff manifest, and now you shocked. It's right. And so I'm doing well, Grandma Love. But that's the like this year, once I go, because I have to travel soon, but once I come back from those travels, I'm feeling like I'm gonna go into like more of a cocoon, and I'm going to be more centered in myself and more focused on getting resources. um if I have to get a little part time job, I would rather do that because this is the thing. The reason why I have always been able to get grants, the reason why I have always been able to secure funding is because my timeline speaks for itself. I do the work when nobody's paying me. I do the work when nobody's giving me money. I do the work when I'm not being funded. And I am tired of doing the work, getting the funding, taking the initiative, and sharing resources with people who are only there because the funding is there. And that is what's wrong with the grant making process. That's what's wrong with the funding process, is because a lot of people have their hands in a pot who are not seriously invested in a shift, who are not seriously invested in balance, who are not seriously invested in seeing equality for black women, for women of all kinds, for trans women, for people in the queer community, for poor people, for people who suffer through addiction, who are living with ailments, for people who are navigating stigmas. Like, a lot of people are not here for that. They pretend to be here for that because they know that's going to get them some money. They know that's going to get them some funding. And I am tired of working with people. I've met so many different personalities this year, and a lot of those personalities, they have been conditioned to have their hand out. Then when you feel like the only reason why, when it comes to divvying out money, I'm always gonna feel like I should get a larger cut because I'm the one taking the initiative. I'm the one who's built the brand to ask for the money. I'm the one who has the integrity and the reputation. They see my work ethic. They see what I do in community. They see what I bring to community. They see how I travel from place to place and I'm always showing up for community. So really, honestly and truly, every time I write a grant, everybody else is literally writing off my work. Then you have the audacity to want the same as me, but you're not giving back to the community like I do. You got me effed up. I'ma give you money and and give y'all money and divide up the money and divide up the resources to people who I know. You're talented, you're creative. I'm not gonna take that from you, but your intentions is not to do what I'm doing. You finna take this money and do something else with it that is not going back into the ultimate goal, which is like really, really shifting the needle. And I've been working with people for years, and people just aren't sincere. Like, a lot of people, they're just afraid, they're cowardice, and I'm tired of working with cowards. Right, 100% pure love. Grand Rising Coco. Yeah, I'm just tired. Make sure y'all click that thumbs up button when y'all come on the live, because I'm trying to get through the algorithm. It's 13 people on here. I only have 2 thumbs up. But yeah, that's important to me this year. I'm not doing all that. Like, I'm going in a different direction. I'm focusing more, like, and I like, the reason why I'm struggling with this and the reason why I'm doing this live is because this has never been what I wanted. I never wanted my work to be a monarch, but that's what it looked like it's turning into. I never wanted my work to look like a monarchy. I never wanted my work to look like it centered me. That was never, if y'all go back to the beginning when I first started doing videos, I never wanted this work to look like a monarchy. But the way that people are conditioned, most people just want you to give them a check. They want to do what they're told and get their money and go home. This is how most people are conditioned. And then you have people who feel entitled to more than what they have contributed. Then you got those kind of people. So you have people who just want to do what they're told, get their check and go home. And then you have other people who feel like they're entitled to more, but they've done even less. These are the kind of personalities I've been dealing with. People who feel entitled, but ain't really, everybody got their cups, but ain't really chipping in. And then you have these other personalities that just want to get what they could get and go home. Then you have these personalities who talk a good game, but at the end of the day, you are an agent, you are an op for the same system that has continued to oppress us this whole time. You are a gatekeeper, a mammy, and a butler for the same system. And let me tell you something. I know how to play nice. I know how to be diplomatic. But at the end of the day, I'ma hop my happy-go-lucky butt right up on this platform and say what it is. I'll put my tap shoes on, but after I'm done, I'm gonna get right up on this platform and I'm going to say, this is what it was. I've done that for years. And that is where the integrity comes in at. That is where I'm not, that's where I'm cut different. That's where I'm built different. I'll go, the way that I was brought up is to respect people in their house. So I'm not going to come in your house and disrespect you, which is why me and that one fell out, which is why that one is no longer here. Because I am not going to come into anyone's home and disrespect them. I'm not going to go into the White House and disrespect them in the White House. I'm not going to go into any government facility or organization and disrespect them inside of their space, inside of their home. And I demand that same respect when you come into my space. Don't disrespect me in my home. I'm not going to disrespect you in your home. Don't disrespect me in mine. Point blank, period. I can respect you. I can hold my peace when I'm in your home. This is why I don't set foot in a lot of church houses. Because when they screaming, oh, thank you, Father. Oh, thank you, Jesus, it be shut up in my bones. I be wanting to say, thank you, Mother. Thank you, Father. But I was not invited in there to do that. And at some point, I think it's gonna have to happen like that. At some point, I think it's just gonna have to be spiritual warfare. It's just, like what Cardi B said, it's up. If it's up, then it's stuck. I think at some point it's gonna have to be like that. But until we get there, I'm holding my mule. I'm minding my business. But if I don't come in your house disrespecting you, don't come in your house disrespecting me. So people, because I have a radical message, because I have a radical platform, and let's be clear, right now, that's what we need. We need radical minds. We need people who are not afraid to say the quiet part out loud at the head of the movement, because y'all done had these shuckers and jivers at the head of the movement for the past 10 years. And where has it gotten us? Again, Hansel and Gretel in the oven getting fattened up. Y'all was scared of my voice. You were scared of my message. You saw me as problematic. And all the time, it's been some Hansel and Gretel bullshit. We've been in a witch's house getting fattened up to lose every fucking thing and have to start back from square one. But you were scared to let me talk. You were scared to, I've never been one of the trans 100. Been doing this work before Laverne was popping. Been doing this work before Janet Mock was popping. Been doing this work when T.S. Madison started. Had a platform just like her. and all of the other black trans women who are doing blah blah blah. Y'all centered those girls. Y'all centered those girls. Y'all let those girls get it. And what is it won y'all? Now a lot of those girls is balling. Those girls wealthy. Those girls good. Those girls straight. And how is it benefiting us as a whole? How did it really shift the needle other than pushing a few more trans girls into wealth, into a status of wealth? How did it really change anything? Because there were wealthy trans women before Laverne was on the cover of Time magazine. They were living in stealth. There's always been wealthy trans women. They married into it. They went to other countries and got married where it was accepted, and they went to others. They got their gender mark. Like wealth can buy you things. Like literally, there was a black woman in history who had so much money they were gonna let her change her status from black to white because that's how much money she had, and they wanted. I can't think of her name right now, but they was gonna mark her as white. She was as brown as me. They was gonna mark her as white because they wanted her to legally be able to marry white men. See, money changes things. And if a wealthy person saw a trans woman, whether she had a penis or a vagina, if that transition was right, he can go and get all that paperwork changed. He could buy all that and leave everything to her. So there's always been wealthy trans people. There's always been trans people who've been able to marry into money. And vice versa with trans men. It's probably trans men right now on paper, legally female, married to wealthy white men, and it looked like a gay relationship, but on paper, it's a heterosexual relationship. Wealthy trans people have always been able to get access to wealth. That's something that's been happening, and it's gonna continue to happen, even under Trump's administration. But what about the people on the bottom? So many of us are so focused on getting to the top that we stepping on the people on the bottom and we don't care about the people on the bottom. We so busy. You hear this narrative in the black community specifically. Oh, I was so poor. I ain't never trying to look back. I ain't never trying to go back there. I don't never want to remember. I'm trying to get away. I don't want nothing to do with that. The worst thing, what Steve Harvey said, the best thing you could do for black people is not be poor. But everybody is not going to be able to be rich. That's just not how the world works. And so, should you change your perception to look down on people who are not wealthy? Do you have to now change your perception to have disdain for people who are not wealthy, to have disdain for people who will never have that access? Because then when you start giving all your intellectual property and all of your resources to people who are wealthy and to people who hold the power, then now these people over here, they don't have access to the information. They're not connecting with that information. And so a lot of them, I gotta say this in layman's terms, are acting like niggas that ain't never had shit. And this is why don't none of us want to work with poor people, because it's not enough of us who have the understanding and the wisdom, who are willing to continue to stay invested in building intellectual wisdom and intellectual giving, uplifting the emotional intelligence of those people, of people who lack resources and people who lack access. It's not enough of us who have those gifts that are willing to stay committed to uplifting the emotional intelligence of people who lack access and resources. And so all of us can easily make up excuses to continue to cast that community to the side, to continue to abandon that community. But at the end of the day, it is all of our responsibilities and it is all of our faults when those communities continue to suffer because all of us trying to get over here with the rich people. All of us want to sit at the table with the millionaires and the tycoons and the ones who got money and the ones who at the end of the day could care less about the poor people and see us as cattle, see us as property. Hey, Natasha Tor, we love you, baby. See us as property, see us as merchandise. But if I have not done anything else, I have tried. Aaliyah said, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. And I have tried, and I have tried, and I have tried, but I am not finna keep trying to do it by myself. I'm not going to turn my eye from poor people. I'm not going to turn my eyes from the disenfranchised. I'm not going to turn my eyes from people who lack access and from people who lack resources. I'm going to find a way to do it in my personal work to stay connected. But as far as doing getting grants to try to create opportunities for people who don't even have the self-awareness to understand that this work is important whether we get paid or not. Whether we getting some greenbacks with white faces on it, whether we get the approval, whether we have the tangible marker from Uncle Sam, from the founding fathers, whether we have that tangible indicator or not, this work is crucial. And not enough people who lack access and resources have the type of emotional intelligence to be able to understand that. And that's frustrating for me. That's disenchanting. And that shows me that the ones who are getting the funding, that shows me that the gatekeepers who are getting the access and who are getting the major funding, who are getting the major resources, y'all ain't doing shit. Y'all ain't doing a fucking thing because po people still acting like po people. Too many people around here getting funded. Too many people around here getting money in our community for the trans community, for the black trans community specifically, to still be where it is mentally, emotionally, intellectually. What are y'all doing? Again, back to Hansel and Gretel's house. Back to Hansel and Gretel's house. It's like y'all are helping to fatten these individuals up to go in that oven. You have to set yourself up and then help others get in because most aren't ready. Yeah. And you know what? That is a that is a that is like that right there, what you just said, like that hit me hard because that's a fucking reality. That's a fucking reality, and that's something that I have not wanted to accept. I have been fighting with it. But then when you get the money and you get the resources, it's like a lot of people will say, how can you mentor? Like I know a lot of people look at me and they say, how can you mentor someone? How can you teach someone? What do you have like that I want? I have integrity. I'm a decent person. I'm an honest person. Thank God, goddess, I've never killed anybody. I've never had to kill anybody. I'm loved by children, adults. I could go to anybody. I have apartments and houses that I can go to all over this country and walk inside. I have keys to different people's houses all over the country where I could go inside people's house. I am that type of person. So when you say, what can you learn from me? What can I teach you? I can teach you how to be a decent human being. I can teach you how to manifest so that you ain't throw it away. I could teach you how to love yourself and to have a light in yourself that will always open doors for you. And a lot of y'all don't see the value in that because y'all have been so conditioned to think that this is the only thing that matters. This is the prize. And so you get out there and you work every day. You get out there, you hustle every day. You get out there and you do all that and you're becoming a slave to your own need for things. Your need for material things to soothe the emptiness of your soul. I have peace. And I think my peace offends a lot of people. They take my peace as, oh, you really just gonna be nonchalant, huh? I need you to be more up and more up in arms. I need you to be more worried. I need for you to have that henny penny, the sky is falling energy with me. I need you to be fear mongering with me. Why? I have peace. What's gonna be is gonna be. I'm on my assignment. I'm doing what I was called to do. Your worry, your fear, your henny penny, the sky is falling energy is coming from the fact that you don't have no peace. It's coming from the fact that you're not living in your purpose and you really legit don't know who you are. Because if you did, you'll know that this is just a part of the journey. Again, energy does not die, it's merely transformed and transferred. And yes, it can go dormant. There can be a season where you are inanimate, you're not moving. You might be reincarnated as a rock. You might be reincarnated as a tree. But things go through seasons. When you have emotional intelligence, you understand that. That's not lost on you. That every season of your existence, you're not always going to be doing the same thing or moving in the same way. I could be reincarnated as a roach next time and get stepped on as soon as I run out across the floor. That's gonna be one of my lives. I'm okay with that. I done stepped on a couple of roaches. It's fair. But energy does not die, it's transferred and it's transformed. And sometimes that energy can be dormant. And we see this in the caterpillar and the butterfly. The caterpillar literally goes into this, when it's going through its metamorphosis, it goes into this period where it is not active and it is being completely broken down so that it can emerge and be reformed as this butterfly that is capable of taking flight. And so sometimes you got to be stilled. You got to be stilled and broken completely down so that you can fly. That's a word. You got to be stilled and broken completely down so that you could fly, so that you could soar, so that you ain't got to crawl across the ground no more and be at the bottom. But a lot of us are afraid to be stilled. A lot of us have too much ego and pride to be broken completely down. Because sometimes that look like being isolated, being rejected, being hated on, being humiliated, being laughed at, being misunderstood. You're about setting people free because, Kenny, you could be in amazing places. I've seen you. Yeah. And now I'm accepting. I just didn't want. It's been so hard for me. I one of the reasons why I had to step away from the work when I was younger, like when I first, like when the movement first started doing what the movement was doing. One of the reasons why I had to step away from the work is because, as a person who has been incarcerated, the longest time I ever was in jail was 104 days. So I know what it's like to be viewed as a number. I know what it's like to be, not even called by your name, to be called by a number. And so when I first got into like organized nonprofit work, when I first got into nonprofit advocacy work, when I first got into that, hold on one second. When I first got into nonprofit advocacy work, there was a lot of that, you know, talking about people like they was numbers, and it triggered me. That's a little bit of inside information for people who have been around me in those settings, and they was like, she was unhinged. She gave this, she gave that, because it was my trauma. Being in jail, being treated like a number, being treated like data, being treated like a statistic. When I got into the nonprofit and I just saw how calmly, scholars and academics were able to look at other human beings, other living entities, and a lot of times there's this exchange between even healthcare providers and people in the nonprofit sector and people who are doing state work that look at us as though they're doing us a favor, when if it wasn't for our lived experiences and our journey and the things that we are going through, y'all wouldn't have a purpose, you wouldn't have a job, you wouldn't be getting paid. Like, the reason why you're able to get this money and the reason why you're able to get this funds is because of our lived experiences, is because of our trauma, is because of the things that we went through. Even when you think about influencers on social media and when you think about all of these people who are able to build these tremendous platforms, it's because they've tapped into how to relate to other people's trauma, how to relate to other people's pain, how to relate to what other people find joy in, how to relate to what other people connect with. Like, if nobody's agreeing with you, if nobody's connecting with you, then you wouldn't be able to get any money, because the real money is the people. If nobody's showing up for you, if nobody's invested in what you're saying, if nobody cares about what you're saying, then the money's not coming. If nobody's invested in what you're doing, nobody's willing to spend, nobody's willing to invest, the resources are not coming. Unless you were born into wealth, because then it don't matter. You could basically shape the narrative and tell people what it is, because you have enough money to control media and to shove your ideas and your beliefs in people's face. Now, when you're born into wealth, when you're born into multi-millions and billions, then, child, you could buy a platform, you could buy this and that, and you could hire writers and storytellers and illustrators, and you could hire people to program society when you're born into wealth. So when you're born into wealth, you don't even need to win people over, because now you have the resources to just program society. See, y'all, that flew over a lot of y'all here, because a lot of y'all ain't thought that far. You don't realize that there's wealthy people out here who are getting wealth just to control how you think, just to program you. Like when we talk about the algorithm, when we talk about how the algorithm works, I learned on my own. Nobody taught me this because I didn't go to school and study all of this. And I don't have a lot of scholarly close friends around me. I know scholarly people. I have relationships with scholarly people, but I don't have a lot of scholarly people around me. But one of the things that I notice on social media is that you have to be careful about the things that you click on. You have to be careful about the things that you show interest in, because once you click on it, the algorithm is going to continually feed you. And then the next thing you know, you're in an echo chamber that you've trapped yourself in because of the choices that you have made. The algorithm is going to start feeding you things. And if you're not careful, you're not going to grow because you don't have a balance. Because we eat not just through our mouth, but we eat through our brain. The same way we eat here, we eat here. Through the things that we feed ourselves, by the content that we consume, the relationships that we foster, how we perceive society, and how we perceive society, how we maneuver in society, how we engage in society is based on the content that we feed ourselves and the relationships that we foster, the people that we are in communication with, the people that we relate to. So this is shaping our consciousness. And then this in turn impacts and affects how we maneuver in society. Yeah, it do. Remember what I said yesterday. You have to know who you are and where you are at and forgive them because they honestly don't know what they're doing. Hmm. I know it, but they know it, but don't know better. You're amazing and intelligent. Thank you so much. Just watch and learn. Yes, you are trustworthy and lovable. Thank you, Tina. Hey, baby. Hmm. You might, you have taught me a lot, and I'm grateful for you and my tribe. Ashe, Laylim Layler. Pure hearted people attract opportunistic individuals. And, a lot of my friends who love me, they be like, girl, take that money and get yourself together, girl. Take that money and do, like, when I get grants, people be legit telling me, take that money and do something for you. Take that money because you do the work all the time. Like, you live this work. Take that money and invest in yourself. And that is not what I do. I still split it. I still divvy it out. My Cash App speak to it. My PayPal speak to it. Like, my biggest philosophy is treat people how you want to be treated. Treat people how you want to be treated. Treat people how you want to be treated. And because I think like that, like a cat, somehow I always land on my feet. I know y'all done heard me say this a million times, and you gonna probably hear me say it a million more. I went to Africa twice with not a dollar in my pocket. And I was fine. One time I went for a week, and the other time I went for 9 months. And when I got off that plane, I didn't have any money. I think the first time I had like $20. The second time I had nothing but faith. And I think that's just where I'm different, because I know my intentions and I know how I move, and I know, like, so I wouldn't trade a day in my life for the wealthiest person's life, because I know no matter how much money you got, you still got problems. But I'm hard headed. I'll take accountability and say that I'm hard headed. Man, you got to show me. I am hard headed. I will say that. I will own that. I am hard headed. And because I'm hard headed, I have to continue like but now I'm at the point to where I have really fully realized that it's like you said, Coco. I'm gonna have to set myself up, and it's not gonna be a collective because people are not ready to do the work collectively. So many people are in survival mode. So many people are in this henny penny state of mind. So many people are fearful of the message and the radicalness of my work that I'm not meant to have people, at least at this time, who are literally prepared to walk through that fire with me simultaneously. It's like I gotta walk through that fire by myself, get the resources, get everything, and then say, hey, I got to do a Tyler Perry. I got to do a Oprah Winfrey. And I think part of the reason why I've been fearful of that process is because I don't have no disrespect for Tyler Perry. I don't have no disrespect for Oprah Winfrey, but I don't want to be them. And I don't want to lose me in the process. I don't want to lose who I am in the process because I love who I am. But that's what it feels like. It feels like I have to lock myself away and become so focused on my messaging, become so focused on my art, become so focused on my storytelling that I'm almost kind of like a hermit. And I just start producing, and start looking for opportunities where I can literally push my content out for like people who are ready for my kind of storytelling and like just continue to invest in myself and continue to do that and try to push the needle in that way. But trying to do something collectively, um, the programming that they have done to society, even when you get people to show up, most of the time, people are showing up because you have something that they need. And so I have to accept that as a reality and just be able to provide it. But because of that, instead of us sitting up and having a collective conversation about how things are going to go, it's going to look more like what Tyler Perry do. Cause we could get mad at Tyler Perry and talk about what Tyler Perry do, but as a creative, I really kind of get him now. I don't like the content that he creates. I don't like the stories that he chooses to tell, but I really understand why he's the way he is. Why he write all the scripts, why he pick out everything, why he control everything because he's the one taking all the initiative. He's been the one that's been most invested. Most of the people that he worked with were just showing up for their check. Oh, is somebody paying? I don't really care what part I got to play. Am I getting paid? Is it a check for me? Did any mail come for me? Did any mail come for me? Make sure y'all click that thumbs up button because there's 19 of y'all on the live. I'm trying to get through the algorithm. What is that's the I'm a punk ass bitch. Okay, the weak watch the strong. Seasons change, not a roach. I'ma get the rain, bitch. Hey, sister. Hey, Queen Isan. Yes, it's time to let them feel the cold side of the pillow. Girl, why do I have the same curtains? Blue I'm sick of us, LOL. Twins in real life. Well, this is actually fabric. So I got like a lot of different fabric. But you know, me and you always be on the same type of vibe. You know, we gonna find a way to connect with each other, sister. Yes, Black Gold. Yes. Built off the pain and degradation of others. Facts. This is 100% true. I drop gems. I can drop a gem. Can I drop a gem on you, sister? They keep the riches amongst their friends also. They do keep the money in house. Yes, they do. That part. The algorithm will feed you what you think and what you speak about. I'm always resetting my algorithm. I finally got my algorithm to a good space on I finally got my algorithm to a good space on YouTube. Like foolishness used to come on my algorithm all the time, but now like I finally got it back where I want it. You did go to Africa. I couldn't believe it, but you did it. I'm thinking only Khadid could do this. Pray for discernment. Don't change the method, just the operation. Yeah, I'm not going to stop this is my life, this is my life's work, but I think that and this has been a fear for me and a challenge for me is like I want to do I'm still going to do an EP um this spring. It's gonna be by myself though. I'm not gonna work with any artist. I don't know, Natasha, girl. We might do a song together, girl, because you know I love you, girl. Girl, you might be on my EP, girl, and if you need me to do something on your EP, girl, I'll do something on your EP, girl. I'll work with you, girl. I'll work with you, Natasha. But mostly I'm gonna do the EP. I'm gonna release my own EP this year because I do want to put out something musically. I want to do more work with fashion. I did want to do a podcast, but I think that energy would be greater served with me just bucking myself up to go to like the comedy club and try like to do some open mics. Like while I'm in New York, I may as well take advantage of honing that because I do feel like that would be something good for me, and being able to like hire a camera person to come out with me on the nights when I do my comedic sets so that I can make sure excuse me, so I had some coffee, so that I can make sure that content is uploaded to social media. And so I'm going to, like if I have to get like a little job, a little side job where I can pay a camera person to come out and film me while I'm doing my comedic sets, because I feel like that is going to be my main focus for this year. Like I said, I want to make statements through fashion. I want to get some merchandise available for Laylim Layler, and like not really big merchandise, but just like some little small things. I had a couple of ideas about merchandise, and I think that'll also be another um thing. But that's what I want to focus on this year. I want to focus on going into comedy clubs because like I'm in a good space with my paintings, like with how I paint. I'm in a good space with my lyrical prowess, like like what I could do in the studio, what I could do writing as far as poetry and storytelling. Like I'm in a good place with those disciplines. But the thing that I want to advance at, I want to advance at sewing because I want to make my own clothes. I want to advance because I want to make statements through my clothes, and I've had the opportunity to do that a little bit because I have like this printing shop that I go through where I get my art printed on some of my clothes, and that brings me a lot of like I just feel a different energy when I'm wearing my own art on my clothing, but I actually want to physically design the clothing from scratch. And I've been able to do a couple of handmade pieces. Y'all have seen me in some of my own hand sewn pieces, but I really do want to get a little bit more detailed in my hand making fashions this year. So I want to before I get too old and these hands get too shaky to be able to do anything, I really do want to get to the point of where I'm able to like like sew my own clothes and like really just be able to visualize. And I know that that's going to require me like cutting people off. That's gonna require me becoming more of an introvert. Like just going to the like focusing. I'm going to the club, I'm doing my comedy nights, I'm working out, I'm exercising, I'm eating right, I'm working on clothes, and I'm doing my YouTube videos because I do earn money from this. So like, and being able to post that content, being able to share those journeys, I think that that is what I want to focus on this year instead of like and that's been hard for me is like separating from community and focusing on me, focusing on my gifts, focusing on my talents. I don't know why I've always looked at that as selfish. I don't know why I've always felt that way. And but now, I'm getting ready to be 48 years old. And I have tried to do this a different way for almost 2 decades now. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I started doing activism in 2006. In 2026, in 2026, it'll be 20 years that I have been a part of organized advocacy. I started in Atlanta under one of my first mentors in activism, Dee Dee Shambly. I started in Atlanta. I'ma always give credit where credit is due. I'ma always pay homage. After Hurricane Katrina, when we had to relocate, I met Dee Dee Shambly and I started my advocacy in 2006 in Atlanta, Georgia. I worked with Common Ground. I worked with Legenda, but in 2006, that's when I started my advocacy work. And it's 2025 now, so it's been 19 years that I've been a part of this work. 19 years. Next year will be 20 years. Make sure y'all click that thumbs up button, because there's 19 people on here, but only 7 thumbs up. I don't know if some of y'all bots or not, but what's the T? But hit that thumbs up button. But yeah, 19 years, and I still like to think that before it was organized, like I always was like an advocate. Like they literally nicknamed me Sassy. Like I was nicknamed Sassy because I was the one that was always talking back to our boss at work. Like I was always like, I used to be on the mic, telling people about what we was going through. Back then I was Christian. New Year's, I used to get all of the girls to come on stage and we'll hold hands and pray at midnight. So like I've always been sort of a leader, sort of a and I've always been the one that was willing to speak up. Like I would always stand up to the police officers, even before I understood what all of this was. Like I always have had a spirit of advocacy. I remember when I was at the Covenant House, because I stayed in the Covenant House when I was like 17 years old, and I was the president of the resident council. So like I was advocating for all of the people who stayed in the Covenant House. Like I was the president of the resident council when I was like 17 years old, 17, 18 years old. So like I've always been an advocate and a leader and a guide and a teacher in some way. Like that's just always been in my nature. But when I became officially a part of organized advocacy and like consistently followed through with it and knew what it was and was able to name it, it was 2006, so but there were moments before that were clear. I was telling them this story before we fell out. Um I never forget I was 17 years old and I was going to South Division in Milwaukee. Shout out to Milwaukee. I lived in Milwaukee, and my teacher was a black English teacher. And I had already started my transition. I was 16 years old. I was already dressing female. And for the first 2 weeks of school, they didn't know what I was. But my chemistry teacher, who was, I think, Caucasian, made divided the class into male and female. And so, trans wasn't a word, back then. I was 16 years old, going on 17. Trans wasn't a word. So they divided the class and they said males on one side and females on one side. When they said males on one side and females on one side, I went and stood on the side with the males. It created a whole big problem because before that, nobody was acting funny with me. Nobody was mistreating me. I wasn't having any problems. Everybody just took me as a flat chested girl. But once they divided me and the whispers started getting around the school that I was different. Once the whispers started getting around the school that I was different, I noticed I was being pitted against. I had a best friend, her name was Josie, and she was female. And I'll never forget, we was walking down the street after school, and while we was walking down the street, two boys was walking behind us. And how they pitted us against each other was they were calling me by the name that I was given when I was, born, when I was incarnated into this reality, Antoine. And we walking down the street and they're like, Antoine finer than you. Antoine got more hips than you. Antoine look more like a girl than you. And now, mind you, I'm 16 years old. She's 16 years old. We don't know how to deal with this. Like we don't have the range. We don't have the capacity. We neither one of us have never been in this situation. So I'm just quiet while they saying it. I don't know what to say. She's quiet. She don't know what to say. But after that, she never talked to me anymore. We were never friends again after that. She was never around me anymore. We never hung out anymore. The patriarchy split us up. I will never forget that. I will never forget that. Patriarchy split us up. That was my best friend. We was like we hit it off the first day of school and we was together every day until those boys did that. And after that, she did not mess with me no more. And I couldn't blame her because they humiliated her and I didn't even know how to feel. I didn't even know what to do with those feelings. So I was already into poetry. I got on the pep squad. I was on the pep squad. I was a part of the choir. We was getting ready to have Black History Month at school. And I wrote a poem. And now, mind you, I was wearing big earrings. I had braids down to my booty. I was very you like I was like you like I always had presence. You always saw me coming. So I was high energy. So my teacher was like, because I had started getting into fights at school because people was trying to fight me because I was different. Boys were attracted to me and they didn't know how to deal with their attraction to me, so they would tease me and they would attack me, and so I was always in the front page of the news at school. Like it was always a spectacle. And my biological sister was going to the same school with me. And so, even though she always had my back, it was still stressful for her. And it was slightly embarrassing if we just gonna go ahead and keep it all the way real. Because every time you look around, your sibling is always in the middle of something, and you know she wasn't taught how to deal with that. She wasn't equipped to have a trans sibling. She wasn't equipped for that, so it caused arguments and stress between us. So one day, the teacher, they had a Black History program at school. Now, mind you, it's 16. No, wait, it's like 2,000 people at the school, like 2,000, like literally. We had a big school. Um, I want to say it was like 1,700 students, and then the faculty and all that probably brought it up to 2,000, but it was like 1,700 students. So my English teacher, who was a black woman, I'll never forget. I finished reading my poem, and it was about slavery. I was very into all of that at the time. So it was about slavery. So I'm talking about the journey, and my style of storytelling is I'm gonna start you off at a high note, then I'm gonna drag you through the mud, and then I'm gonna bring you back out to the light at the end of the tunnel. That's kind of always been my method for telling stories. So I walked onto the stage, and when I walked onto the stage, I never forget this moment. This was a defining moment for me in my life. I walked out on the stage, and when I walked out on the stage, all of the students bust out laughing because the rumor had gotten around the school of what I was. So these is children. These is high school children. They immature. And this is not a common thing. This is even a less common thing because this is the 90s. This is not 2025. This is the 90s. So when I walked out onto the stage, and the school was predominantly Hispanic because I went to South Division, so it's predominantly Latina. But when I walked out on the stage, it was a thunderous laughter. And that moment could have broke me if I would have been a regular individual. And this is why when people make fun of my teeth, or when people talk about my status, or when people talk, because I've had thousands of people laughing at me before the internet was even a thing. Come on now, come on somebody. I had thousands of people cackling at me before the internet was even a thing. I've been cackled at by thousands. I've been the joke in front of thousands before the internet was even a thing. And so when you wonder why I'm as strong as I am, you have to understand my origin story. So anyway, I get on the mic, and my heart beating fast. My heart about to beat out my chest. But I'm still holding my head high. I ain't crying. I ain't back down because I believed in what I had to say. I had faith. I knew that my words had power. I knew that I was right where I was supposed to be. At 16 years old, I got on that mic. I started talking, and the cackles got quieter. You heard a couple of cackles after the first couple of lines, but the cackles disappeared. I had to grip the whole auditorium, and it was complete and utter silence. You could hear a rat piss on cotton and a roach ice skate across a wax floor. It had got so quiet in the room. By the time I got to the end of the poem, and you could see my sister, my biological sister who was watching it because they was cackling. You could see her kind of like shrugging down in her seat a little bit. I'll talk about this in my book. You could see her kind of shrugging down in her seat a little bit because they were cackling. But baby, as I kept talking, you could see her chest start to stick out. You could see her rise up more in the seat. And as they got quiet, by the time I finished talking, I had a standing ovation. Everybody in the auditorium that was laughing at me was standing up clapping for me. And that was a defining moment in my life. And that is one of the memories that I keep with me whenever I feel ostracized, whenever I feel like people are trying to gaslight me or play in my face or make me look like I'm crazy because my brain doesn't work like theirs or I don't have the same vision that they have. My teacher even told me, Antoine, I don't want you to say this poem. I do not want you to say this poem. Before she said that, she said, but the poem is so beautiful. I have no choice but to let you say this poem. I don't have no choice. I don't want to let you get on that stage because I know it's going to be a problem. I'm afraid of how this is going to work out. She was worried about if they was going to boo, if they was going to throw stuff. She said, but this poem is so beautiful, so powerful that I cannot not allow you to say this poem. I wish I had a copy of it. I wish I had access to the moment. I wish I could go back and find it. Somebody probably video recorded it. It's probably somewhere in some archives that's gonna pop up after I'm gone. But But that was a powerful moment because I transmuted energy. I did alchemy on that stage. And then, and then when I was in jail, there was another time I was in jail. And I tell this story too. I was at one of my lowest lows. And I was in jail. And it was Martin Luther King Day. And I got on my knees and I started praying. And I thought the next day, as I was praying, my voice got louder and louder down the hallway. So the whole floor could hear me praying. The next day, I was sitting on the table in the cafeteria, and when the people came out their cell, it was a line of people standing in line to tell me thank you for praying for them. I thought they was gonna be like, this faggot, what you praying for? Don't nobody want to hear that shit. I thought I was gonna get that. That's what I was prepared for. But it was a line of people that was standing in line to come and thank me because they hadn't been prayed for in forever because they were queer, because they were gay, because they were trans. They were standing in line. And so moments like that I keep with me because those are the moments, and it's more moments that I could talk about, but at this point I feel like I'm bragging, and it's not about that. It's just about saying I know who I am. And I could have been more selfish with my light. I could have been more I could have been more strategic with my light, but that's not who I wanted to be. And unfortunately, I have to move differently now because a lot of people have proven to me that I should not be shining on you. It's time for an eclipse. And it doesn't mean I'm gone. It just means that I'm being protected by another force. It means it's time. It's time for a personal eclipse. It's time. This season that I'm entering now is a moment for another force to protect me and allow me to preserve my light and to choose to shine on strategic places versus just giving everybody access to my light. It's time for my own personal eclipse. Cause I just been shining everywhere. Shining, 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 shining. I just been shining everywhere. And no, no. It's time for a personal eclipse. It's time for an inward eclipse. The sun I'm still shining, but the light ain't for everybody. The everybody ain't gonna see it. At least for a season. Move differently. I've been trying to shine everywhere, just exhausting myself. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And now I know that I've tried. I'm sick and tired of being in community with vultures in survival mode. Ooh, you will never lose you. You will create your own lane. There's a balance in everything. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I received that. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many cooks in the kitchen ruined the recipe. I say too many roaches on this cornbread. Okay, hit that like button. It's free 99. Everyone is meant to lead. Not everyone is meant to lead, Kane. Woo! And that is, ooh. Hey, Aaron. This is so sad. Resilience is definitely a pillar in our culture they can't take from us. Yes, sister. Transmuted that auditorium. Damn. I did. I did. I did. I did. You are so powerful, strategic, in your life. That's it. Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people don't clock that. I have been strategic and I've been able to make room for more, and I think that now I've been forced this year. Now I'm going to have to become even more strategic, you know. But y'all saw me, like y'all watched, like I got how many videos I got on YouTube? Y'all see me trying. I tried more than these others. So now I got to really, really tighten up the strategy in 2025. This is divine nine. This is the year. Like if you're born in 1977 and it's other years, but this is the year of the serpent. This is the year of the Kundalini energy. We're in the age of Aquarius. Like all that stuff is connected together. So this is my year. So I got to move and I'm turning 48. So this is Trinity. 4 plus 8 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. That's my life path number. My first one, I like to say I have more than one because when I went through bottom surgery. But my first life path number was 3, 48, 3, divine 9. Like I really, really I gotta move differently. I gotta be more strategic because this is a window for me. This is a portal for me, and I understand why so many people are being taken out of my life and why so many people are being moved around because they possess a stagnant energy that is not going to allow me to open up the portals that I need to open up. And who hates to admit that is me because, again, as I said it earlier in the live, I'm hard headed. I'm hard headed. I no, we can do it this way. No, we can. I'm sitting up here arguing with the ancestors like, no, this is how I'm sitting up here arguing with me and the ancestors be like this. Am I the only one who be arguing with the ancestors like I be laying in the bed like this. Not not why y'all I be arguing with I be arguing with I know y'all not gonna then sometimes you just know you can't win. You just know that you pushing it, you reaching, so you just shut up. But I will be like, how they said Moses was like, why I gotta go? Why I gotta do it? And how they said Jonah didn't want to go to Nivea, and Jonah, that's me. Very, very much Moses and Jonah energy. Like, they said, who was Isaiah wrestling with the angel of the Lord until he got blessed? Very much my energy. Very much my energy. Very, very much. I'm finna wrestle. I'm finna question. I'm finna argue. Very much my energy. Very, very much. Very much me. That's and look, my hands look different than everybody I ever seen. Nobody I know have hands like I've never seen anybody with that many damn lines in their hand. And they say our hands are off trees, like off of leaves on trees. I've never seen anybody who have hands like mine. I've never seen anybody with this many lines in their hand. Never. Like you see the three big lines, the three major lines, but look at all them small lines. Like I literally have never seen anybody who have as many lines in their hand as I do. So I know I'm different. Definitely different. And I'm left-handed. Grand Rising, Miss Kaneen Pooh. Shine your light on those who reciprocate, not on those who try to dim it. Amen, that woman. I received that, Anandia. Everyone of your moments isn't meant for everyone all the time. Everyone has to do their own work. It's a journey and everyone has one. Amen and women. Become stricter with Miss Boundaries. I receive it. I receive it. Everyone can't go where you're going. I receive it 100% pure love. 100% pure love. Please make sure she remembers that. Oh, trust me, 100% pure love gonna remind me. Oh, she gonna remind me. I'm counting on you, pure love. Trust me, she's going to remind me. I will negotiate. I will negotiate before surrendering. Not aging one bit. Oh, thank you. Those lines. Me neither. Yeah. Yeah. Girl, when I tell you, and then in both hands, tell it give buku lines. It give buku lines, child. I've always like that's why I don't like getting my palms read because I'm like, is y'all gonna tell me the truth? Like, y'all not telling me the truth. And I let somebody read. I literally, I have let two people read my palms in my whole life. And every time I ever got my palms read, the same day I got my palms read, I got my face popped. So it was like literally, I was with the same dude every time I got my palms read. Me and him broke up. I was with him again. Every time I got my palm read, I was with him, and he was a Taurus. And every time I got my palm read, when I got back to the house, I got batted in my mouth for something. For something. He popped the shit out of me. Every time I got my palm read, I got my palm read twice, and I got batted in my mouth twice. So I was like, you know what? You know what? I don't fuck with the palm reads. I don't think they. I don't fuck with the palm reads. I don't. I don't do that. Like, and I think it's because the palm readers that I was going to were not telling me the truth. Yeah, I think it's because they weren't telling me the truth. And I don't, and like looking back on it, I can't remember what was exactly said to me, but I don't think it was the palm readers um not supposed to know shit. Well, it was some type of tea, but every time I got my palm read, I got my face popped the same day. Not the next day, not 2 days later, not a week later. The same day I got my palm read, I got my face. I've had my palm read twice, and my face was popped on the same day. Not even 4 hours later. So bitch. If I can't read them myself, ain't nobody about to read them for me. Nah, ain't nobody about to read them for me. But yeah, so the moral of this video is that I'm not going to be applying for any group funding this year. If there is some solo artist opportunities for me to like get funding that way, then yes. But I'm not going to be applying to any group funding this year, where I have to put somebody else's name on the application other than mine, where I have to be talking to somebody else because if y'all were already invested, y'all would already be here and we'd be doing this work already. So I'm not applying for any group funding this year. I'm going to apply for solo funding. If there's funding for solo artists to support their work, then I will apply for that. And but more than anything, I want to find me like a little side job, find me a little side hustle, and just continue to promote the channel, so that I can continue to do work in that way, because I do want to be able to pay a videographer to follow me this year because I do like the 4G content and I loved working with Henry. So I would like to be able to compensate, him for the work that he does for this. So if anybody knows of any opportunities, that they want to share with me, please get in the comment section. Also, you can email me at, Kaneen Mafa, the number 4 at gmail.com. That's one of my emails that you could use to email me directly. You can contact me on Instagram, which is Kaneen Mafa 8. Kaneen Mafa, the number 8 on Instagram. And you can also contact me on TikTok at Kaneen Mafa 3. That's my TikTok contact. And if anybody who has ideas that align with the work that I'm doing, I am available, to travel. But baby, you need to be able to pay for, you need to be able to set me up, honey. You need to be able to do that. Like we can talk about bookings because I could do a couple of bookings. But just know that the money that I'm getting paid for, what I'm getting paid, is going back into my work. And if you don't support my work, I understand if you don't want to book me, but you know what my coins are going to. My coins is going to build up the work that I'm doing, and my work is balance, is wholeness, and acknowledgement of the mother and the father. It is coming out of this paradigm of one-sidedness, of oligarchies, oligarchies, excuse me, and just seeing a bunch of the same stuff that we've been looking at since the 1700s. A lot of wealthy white men. This nation started with a bunch of wealthy white men in the room, and it seemed like it's about to end with a bunch of wealthy white men in the room. So, if you are in support of that, then and that's the only thing you want to see, then maybe you don't want to, have my radical ass to come and speak at nothing or to come and talk, because I am gonna play the whole tape. In my music, in my storytelling, in my painting, in my comedic prowess, like in all of the things that I do, I am going to always play the whole tape for you. And so if that is not something you align with, if that is not something that is a good fit for you, then don't consider me. And I'm okay with that. But if that is something that you are you want to see shift, you want to see change, then consider me, because you have to have people who are not afraid to say the quiet parts out loud if you actually want to see a shift. Amen, a woman. So with that being said, we're gonna light a candle because we did not light a candle in the last video. One color candle, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I did puff yesterday. I did take a puff. I know that my fast was starting yesterday. I did hit the weed yesterday. And it was because it was a special day, because my daughter Pernisha was over here, and then my daughter Bonnie here. And Bonnie just came up from New Orleans, and Pernisha, they hadn't seen each other a while, so it just seemed like a family reunion. So I posted that picture. I was really excited. But I didn't eat any meat. I didn't drink any alcohol, and I'm still not having sex. So it's kind of like a soft transition. It's like a soft transition. It was a soft transition. I had a little puff yesterday, but I'm not gonna puff today. I'm not gonna puff today. So we're gonna go ahead and let that puff go today. I gotta go to the hospital and visit one of my sisters who in the hospital today. So I'm about to start getting myself together for that. I'm gonna do some little exercises, and I'm gonna start getting ready. But I like to be accountable to my Laylim Layler community, to my purple ones and my gray ones. Yes, there was a puff of sorts yesterday. I did hit the greens, but I did not. I could have drank. I did not drink. And I'm still doing everything else. I didn't eat meat yesterday. So I had a vegan Whopper. I'm trying to get into I'm trying to get like it's a soft transition, because in a few days, like I'm gonna go ahead and just not eat meat, but I'm gonna eat like hearty meals for like the next couple of days, like, but it's not gonna be meat, and then I'm not gonna smoke the weed today. But what I am gonna do is um I'm gonna eat hearty meals, because when I get ready to start my deep fast, like I'm getting my stomach ready now after like putting the meat out. Um, I'm getting my stomach ready for like, Like I'm gonna go a few days with just water. I'm gonna go a few days with just tea. I'm gonna go a few days with, just like when I really get into my serious, like when I get into the like really really just purging. I'm not there yet because I've been given a cut up. Oh, a girl been cutting up. A girl been, oops, there goes my skirt up over my. Girl, I've been having to turn them down. I've been having to turn them down. And I ain't been messing with nothing but Sagittariuses. And child, you know how hot natured Sagittarius is, girl. I had two Sagittariuses, girl. I've only messed with two men since I've been in my apartment. And that's why when she was like doing that slut shaming, I'm like, I only been with two dudes. And only one dude was a dude like one dude I used condoms with every time, and the other dude I was undetectable, and we had a conversation about what the tea was. That he knew what the tea was before it happened. So he already knew what it was. We used the condom at first and then we decided not to. But he knew what the tea was. So when you try to sit up here and slut shame me and make me feel like I was around here passing the virus and not communicating, first of all, I'm undetectable. Second of all, I only had unprotected sex one time since I got my revision. I only had unprotected sex one time. And the person that I had unprotected sex with knew my status because I told him before. So what are you talking about, sis? What are you talking about? Around here trying to slut shame me. Like I'm just around here wilding. Like I'm just around here having everybody. Like I'm just around here just letting everybody jump up and down in me. Then they made the comment, sharing your children, sharing a partner with your children. First of all, if you've never been a mother, a mentor, a father, a parent, a guide, if you've never been that, why are you speaking on it? See, this is something that we have to stop in the LGBT community and the queer community. We have to stop trying to treat our relationships with our children like we're looking at it through a patriarchal, colonial, white supremacist design. My child grown. My trans child is grown. I'm grown. If we did do something, it wasn't like we was all three in the bed together having. If she did what she did over there, and I did what I did over here, if she got a little bit of that back door, and I got a little bit of that front door, that the little bit of that front, we're all grown. We communicated. It was consensual. Baby, stop trying to put me in a patriarchal colonial lens. We three grown folk. So cut it out. See, that's that white supremacy colonial stuff. Cause when you go to Africa, everybody brother and sister, everybody mama and daddy. That's how they talk to each other. Even the Hispanic people. Hey mommy. Hey mama. Abuelo. Which everybody get titles like that. Because they're not colonized. They're not speaking from a colonial language. We're all connected. Separation is the lie, which we all family. So when y'all start talking about that's crazy work, y'all sound like massa. Y'all sound like massa. Y'all sound like massa. Oh, that's crazy work. That's crazy. What? How is it? We communicated. It was consensual. Nobody got hurt. Everybody knew what the tea was. Everybody understood. Everybody? All relationships don't have the capacity to sustain those types of connections. And see, most times, like when you have 20 plus history, when you have 20 years, baby, that hit different. And so if you ain't never been a mentor, if you ain't never been a guide, if you ain't never been someone's parent at any capacity, you don't understand what that relationship, like literally in the royal family, they literally be bred to be with their cousins. Biological. They be bred to be with their sisters and brothers. Biological. And it continues for generations and generations and generations and generations. Those are the royals. But it be these sheeple. It be these people on the bottom who can't fathom it because you wouldn't be able to handle no type of connection like that. Communication is everything. I'm not comfortable with this. This doesn't feel right for me. I don't want to do this. I don't. Communication is everything. And when you have the ability to communicate and you have the ability to express yourself, baby, those are the best type of relationship. That's how you build tribes. How do you think it was multiple wives? How do you think they're able to have successful relationships and build nations where people have multiple wives and multiple partners? You have like this family vibe, you have like this family connection, and that's how you able to build together. And some of the attraction might be platonic, and some of the attraction might be physical. Some of y'all may share interest, some of y'all may share physical interest in the same partner, and hey, maybe you could provide that partner with something physically that the other partner cannot. When you're not insecure in yourself. See, insecurity, it all goes back to insecurity. When you're not insecure in yourself, when you know what you bring to the table, then you're not going to be insecure. Because if I'm being realistic, I'm not insecure about being with a man who like the bottom. I'm just not. A lot of my sisters, they don't want no man who is willing to bottom. They don't want them. But in my mind, because I am a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, I'm a little bit of a realist, I think all of them low key bottoming somewhere. So the question becomes, do I want to be aware that you bottom, or do I want to find out that you're bottoming? That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with it. Do I want to find out that you're bottoming, or do I want to know? Do I want to know up front? Do I want you to be honest about the fact that you're bottoming? And I want you to be honest, even if I can't handle it, even if I don't want to hear it. I want to know. Because I like to think that I am emotionally mature enough and intellectually mature enough to be okay with my partner having desires that I personally cannot satisfy. I'd like to think that I'm emotionally mature enough because at one time I wasn't. Bitch, he bottoming, ew, girl, stop. And sometimes I would have them, even when I had my penis. I used to jump on them, top them down, and then when I got their booty, I would shave them because, bitch, now you a hoe. And that was when I was in a different place in consciousness. I would get them cookies and then shade him. When I had my penis, I would get them cookies and then shade him. Dive gleefully and then read him. But I was in a different space and conscious. I was at a different place. I was not mature enough to handle the idea of my partner getting his back blew out. Because I consider myself to be a fishy girl. I consider myself to be a fishy girl, what I look like being with that. And so when you're immature and you don't have emotional intelligence and you're an immature person and you're an insecure person, you can't handle the idea of your man having his face down and his ass up getting his back blew out. And because I've always been like I was able to learn this because some of the men who presented one thing to me, like they would never get their booty played with, like they would never get their cookies dug in, they'll get with one of my sisters and you know we all talk. They'll get with one of my sisters and they would be totally different with my sister. Couldn't keep the piece out their mouth or their booty hole. But you was just with me talking about you'll never do that. But you got with her and it was face down, ass up. That's the way you like it. And so at some point, you just have to be like, okay, either you going to be mature about this or either you just going to continue to try to pretend like a lot of these men not around here bothering me. And if they ain't bottoming with you, they probably bottoming with their homeboy. And when you shame it, all you do is make the conversation more private. All you do is force the conversation more underground. But the bottoming is still happening and the conversation is still happening. And you no longer have access to it now. And so now you're vulnerable because you don't even know what's going on. You're vulnerable because you didn't have the emotional intelligence to expect the fact that your partner finds joy and putting their face down and their ass up. And because we have a colonial idea about how men are supposed to be. We want to see them as protectors, we want to see them as providers, we want to see them as masculine and strong, and we want to see them as tough, and we want to see them in this way. And once he arches back, you lose that respect for him. But if you don't respect him for arching his back, then that means there's some self-hate going on. Because don't you arch your back? Don't we all have mother and father energy in us? Don't we all have masculine and feminine energy? You arch your back. How can you hate him for liking to arch his back? My thing is that when you arch your back, don't be no coward. Don't be running for no fights. I don't want to have to fight for you. Like when your back arching causes you to become a coward and it causes you to be afraid to stand on business and be ready to ride, then bitch, that's when I have an issue with you arching your back. And that's when I'm probably gonna read you for it. Because now I'm finna say arching your back has made you weak. Arching your back is not making you strong. You're getting the wrong uploads into that anal cavity if you are afraid. I ain't got no problem with you arching your back. But when you're arching your back causes you to become a coward, causes you to become so soft and so scary that you're no longer any support, you're no longer any backup. Oh no. I ain't gonna even call you pussy because cats is fierce. Bitch, cats will fight. So I'm not gonna call you pussy, bitch. You something else. I don't know what to call you, but I ain't gonna call you no pussy because, bitch, cats are not scary. Cats will let your ass have it. Yeah, we don't do the cowardly bottoms. I could deal with you being a bottom, but not a cowardly bottom. Compensation is important too. Sure, or okay. Unchecked insecurity without proper healing will manifest into some nasty, evil, bizarre intentions. Mm-hmm. And agendas. Ashe. They will betray with you and go get trained in Timothy's basement. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. I've seen it. I've seen it. When I was little, like when I was young, how I was introduced to it. All of the boys who grew up to be like, like pillars in the community when I was living in Bogalusa, all of them was at this dude house. And later on he ended up blowing his brains out. God got us wherever his soul is. I hope, he's having some type of peace. So I hope he found peace. But I went, baby, when I tell you it was dudes, all of them married now with children. You know what I'm saying? But they were all getting dug out. They were all getting dug out. I'm the one that grew up to be a girl and get a sex change. Niggas who got wives and children was getting penetrated in their booty hole before me. Bitch, I was late to the party. Bitch, I grew up to be the girl, the woman. And it was dudes who were married with children who was the ones who was getting they box played with before me. Bitch, I was late to the party. It's a whole underground world. How do you think patriarchy sustains itself? Girl. 100% feel upset. Might as well be open minded. It's 54 people on here. Where's that thumbs up? And why y'all playing with me? Click thumbs up. Y'all getting this tea and getting this information. And y'all can't even do something free like click like y'all is petty. I used to side eye masculine men that want to get bottom, but now it actually turns me on. Exactly. I will watch. I will watch. Because I like to see them be free. Be free. Go ahead and free yourself. Go ahead and free yourself. I used to be like, this is why they was. I remember the first time I saw, a dude that I was sexually attracted to with his legs up in the air. I was, girl, if I had some pearls, girl, they would have been clutched, girl. I was, baby, when I tell you I was passionately in love because it was like I saw his wholeness. Like I saw him connect with his feminine side in a way that I would have never saw him connect with his feminine side. And I was never really into topping boys. I would top them because I was competitive. Like if my sister topped him, I'd be like, well, I could do it too. So it was more so about me trying to prove a point. It was never really about, oh, I like topping, I like booty. It was like, I have a penis. I may as well use it. If that's what he want, I'm gonna try to please him. He's pleasing me. If that's what he like, I'm gonna try to do it. Like it was more so that logic with me. And so I would do it to bring them pleasure because I wanted to please my partners. But like when I saw him bottom, I was like, I ain't gonna lie, some of it was a lot. Like, it was a lot to process. Like when I saw him sitting on the toilet dishing, I was like, but do you want poop on it? Because a lot of the Caucasians, they didn't like dishing. They used to leave a little, it'd be a Picasso. They leave some mud on the tip. Mud on the tippy tip. It'd be mud on the tippy tip. But the deeply melanated, baby, we gonna clean it out. And when you see him cleaning it out, you like, he really committed to this, huh? So you know how to do it, Sean. Oh my goodness. I want it to be clean, but do I have to see you dishing? Like the dishing part is really like when I had to come to terms with the dishing, but you want them to clean it. You don't want that mess on you. But when you realize that they have to dish too, it's like this is a lot. This is a lot. He's touching. He's touching his booty hole. Like he's touching. He's cleaning his booty hole. He's sitting on the toilet, sticking a tube up his booty hole, cleaning it out. Like God is no. Let me stop. I'm okay. Ooh, me. As long as they don't fetishize you in the process, right? And I'm open minded, and and it is a open minded thing in the bedroom with your partner. I don't see nothing wrong with it. I don't see them as any less of a man anymore. A man, a woman, growth, growth. Because we definitely don't look at females or cis women or beings who were born with wombs and identify with the construct of womanhood. We definitely don't look at them as less than a woman if they participate in a little conolangus, if they be around here eating each other out. We definitely don't see them as less than what they are. So why are we going to see him as less than what he is? Because he want his back played with. Like I said, as long as you ain't no cowardly lion. Now, to be honest with you, if you like to bottom more than me, I don't know how well this is gonna work. I don't know how well it's gonna work. You can't be a bigger bottom than me. You I need you to be a light bottom. I don't need you to be a power bottom. If I'm just being honest, because I don't know how this is gonna work if you're a power bottom and I'm a whole sex change. How is this gonna work? Am I ever gonna get what I want? I don't know about that. they better be a be a real ass confident nigga tooting their ass up. Okay, you better have some confidence, huh? Just because you getting dug out, don't be no punk. Exactly. Exactly. I will respect you. I will honor you and put you on a pedestal. Baby, put an arch in your back and lift your rump. But when it come time to fight, you better not be no punk. Period. Put an arch in your back and lift your rump. But when it come time to fight, you better not be no punk. Period. Period. The cowardly undercover bottoms. Nah, we don't do that. You trying to act like stunty cunty. Nah, we don't like that. I respect mass bottoms that's confident about whatever position they in, period. Yes, Timothy's basement. Okay. Getting the train run on him in Timothy's basement. It's always the ones with wives and children. It sure do. Baby, that's where they relief at. Baby, when they get overburdened and overwhelmed, honey, they dash off. They dash off to Timothy's basement. I'm going to see the game. I'm going by my homeboys to watch the game. That might be my next song, Timothy's Basement. It was a wild time in Timothy's basement. Ooh, he hit me in my basement. Ooh, my face was down to the pavement. Yeah, we had an arrangement. It was a wild time in Timothy's basement. Ooh, we had an arrangement. I had my face on the pavement. In Timothy's basement, bitch. What ass? What ass? Timothy's basement, my God, it's God today. Let me stop. Calm down, girl. Calm down. Calm down. I love the truth, look Adar. Okay. Only topic like to partake is pizza toppings. Okay. You don't want to participate in no topping unless it's pizza topping, baby. I can't do it with you, baby. I can't do it with you. I can't do it. The doo doo on the mushroom. Yes. Yes, the doo doo. I know you like to think your shit don't stink. You think the roses smell like, but they really smell like doo doo. Let me stop. This conversation is open. Oh, you're cackling, huh? Look at her. I want to see. I don't want to see no nigga dush. I remember this big motherfucker came into my house with a summer's eve dush. I went off. And like when it comes to the dushy part, close the door. Cause you're taking me too fast, baby. Close the door. Some things we'll keep to ourselves. I don't need to know how the sausage is made, fat. I don't need to know how the sausage is made, fat. All I need to see is the end results, fat. We're not concerned about how the sausage is made today. Close the door. Girl, we're not concerned about how the sausage is made, fat. Summer's Eve, I'm logging off. Yes. Ooh, a lot of 6 foot niggas and above be mega bottoms. Ooh, that's the banger, Timothy's basement. Yes. The smell of wet shit is a major turn off. Woo-wee. Close the door. I love you, baby, but I don't need. We don't need to know. We don't need to know how the sausage is made, boo. We don't need. Go do that in Timothy's basement, baby. Make sure you clean it in Timothy's basement, baby. We don't need you to come on. It's good, baby. Do that in Timothy's basement, baby. Look, Coco said that's a banger, baby. Okay. We don't need to know how the sausage is made on today. Some things you keep to yourself. You just come out and if we toss them salads, we smell a light little hinge of summer's eve. And we do this. Oh, okay. And just let us assume it's natural. Just let us assume it's natural. You ain't even have to do nothing to get that smell. That's just how you naturally smell. Not mushroom gravy. Gimme gravy. Gimme gravy. Wait, hold on. Now we gonna do it. Wait, hold on. 1 second. Gimme. Gimme gravy too. Oh man, y'all know I'm goofy, chill. Y'all know I'm goofy. I don't want no gravy though, for real. But anyway, I lit the candle. Girl, we went smooth over to the left at the end of this live, huh? Well, y'all know y'all can count on that over here. y'all know y'all, y'all know y'all can count on me to go. Been around the world and I can't find my baby. I don't know it right. Bitch, we gonna go. Been around the world looking for my baby. Been around the world and I'm gonna find. We had a quarrel and I let myself go. Let me start. I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again, Jim. I'm doing it again, man. man. Ooh, ooh. Okay, to the left, to the left. Child, I need to go get me another cup of coffee. I gotta use the bathroom. But make sure that y'all click that thumbs up button. Uh, I know you see that because there's so many people on the live, but only 10 thumbs up, child. Because I don't even get mad at them because it's like this speaks to the work. You know, like a lot of people are afraid to engage. And that was what I was talking about through the video. You know, I'm not really about to have no heart attack because, you know, YouTube is monetizing me now, so this is bringing me closer to a check. Thumbs up or not, thanks for that. But you know, if more people would click the thumbs up button, it will really help me to break through the algorithm, and the checks will come quicker. And I definitely wouldn't have to ask for grant money. And I think a lot of people are afraid of the power that this platform really holds. But y'all have kept y'all foot on my neck for decades now, and I'm not responsible for anything that's going on now. I'm not responsible for Trump being in the White House. I'm not responsible for any of the laws and all of the stuff that's going on right now. Like look at what happened. You had your gatekeepers and you trusted them and they were your champions and you sent them out, and look what happened. Look how well that worked out for you, fat. You can't blame me for none of that because y'all kept y'all foot on my neck. Y'all didn't support me. Y'all didn't push me out there. So one thing that I take peace in right now, knowing, bitch, all the shit that's going on today, it ain't got nothing to do with me. Because, bitch, I've been the one, bitch, standing in the back of the line. Bitch, I've been sitting at the back of the bus. Bitch, you always can't blame me for none of this shit. It's period. Yeah. I sent you a little cash app. to balance the likes. Oh, thank you. Did you send it to my old one or my new one? Cause girl, you know I could get to the okay, yeah, I see it. I see it. Thank you. Yeah, to balance out the likes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Cause you know a girl about to be traveling, so she trying to get all her little pennies together, girl. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. But yeah, they will give all that. And like it just speaks, a lot of people are afraid. They are just afraid. Okay. I'm not a part of the 100. Mm. Yeah, they're afraid, baby. That's why I've never been a part of the Trans 100. That's why they've never had me. That's why they never censored me. That's why they never gave me that. I've never been known, baby. They still trying to play me like I'm a rising star, like I just started doing this. And the only reason why they giving me that now is because I've become better at filtering myself. But y'all know when I get on this platform, I may talk in codes for certain things, because certain things you can get in trouble legally for saying. But I may talk in some codes sometimes. But y'all know I'm gonna keep it a beam on here, and that's why I've kept my platform so that I could always have a place to keep it a beam. And that's why a lot of times they was trying to give me those state jobs, and they was trying to give me those jobs working with those organizations, because they was trying to silence me. They kept me so busy I didn't have time to do my videos. I didn't have time to do this. I didn't have time to share this message. But I know that I'm impacting people, because I know young girls who have went through college and graduated from high school, who are living different lives. And when I talk to them on the phone, it's very much thank you, God, Goddess. It's very much amen, a woman. And they have a better sense of themselves. They have a better understanding of themselves, and they don't feel inferior. They're moving through society. They don't announce their spirituality to everybody. They don't talk about it with everybody. But I know that I could tell by how they move and how they show up, that acknowledgement of the mother and the father within them, that acknowledgement of wholeness has really, really helped them to not be suicidal, to not feel inferior, to not feel less than, to not feel like a sidekick. And so that right there speaks volumes to me when I see girls coming up. And I mean, I don't meet a lot of trans men that I could say I have that relationship with, but I know a lot of trans girls that I have met that have a better self-image because of my message. And so that within itself, that's a blessing. I'm thankful for that. I've always appreciated you. I'm glad I was excluded, because they all looking like dumbasses now. Oop, oop. Transparency and rawness is always there. Thank you. I learned more about the trans community from you than anyone else. Oh, thank you, Coco. And baby, that's coming from a woman with children, baby. That's coming from a mother with children, baby. Oh, Capricorn. Community is a joke. They center tricks and non-op trans people over actual advocates. You better talk about it, and it's all by design. They know, they know not to step on my doors with the grooming. I end up telling it all. I tell people all the time, all it takes is a conversation of understanding with each other. Let me tell you something. I tell people all the time, and I'm gonna close with this. My ability to be able to play the game and to be able to laugh and giggle with folk is like Cinderella at 12 midnight, because I can only do it for so long. At 12 midnight, the magic is gone, and everything started turning into pumpkins and rats. Baby, at 12 midnight, the magic done ended, boo. I be on a job, and I be there for about 6 months, for about 8 months. Y'all been playing in my face. Y'all been silencing me. Y'all been treating me like a workhorse when y'all know that my intellectual property is the reason why you actually got this funding. Baby, pumpkins and rats. The magic is gone. Cinderella done went back to the rags, boo. And now I'm about to let you have it. Because guess what? The reason why you was playing in my face is because I had on this big old ball gown. I was performing. I had on these glass slippers and this ball gown, and you were trained to be a wolf in the dress clothes. But see, I know how to pop my shit in my whole clothes. So I gotta put these rags back on so I can get your ass together. Now I'm learning how to get you together in the dressy clothes. But you know, my personality, because I was a sex worker and because I worked in a strip club, they nicknamed me Sassy. I knew how to get tricks together when I had on my little fishnets and my little go-go boots and all that. And so when I got into the organized workforce, I had a negative opinion of that. I was like, you know, that's shameful work. I want honest money. I was ashamed of where I had come from. And so people who had that academic background and they had learned how to be wolves in that environment, they had an advantage over me because I didn't have my whole clothes on. So I didn't know how to get them together in that Cinderella dress and them glass slippers. And so the magic had to, the magic, the spell had to wear off. And I had to go back to them rags. That's why I have tried to stay rooted. Cause bitch, when them rags come back on, bitch, I'm about to eat that greasy pork chop. Cause you playing with me in this ball gown and these glass slippers. You playing with me. You playing in my face. You're playing in my face. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, thank you. Look at Matthew. Talking about you look stunning. You know, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I know I'm cute, but you milking it, Fair. The silver shoe is up there. Hey, the snobs want to be hoes, and the hoes want to be snobs. Well, Jill, let me say, you have to go back to the beginning of the video to learn about all of that. And I don't know who the fuck is this Sir Hat Harkin talking about some bro. Like, is you even from America? Mm. But anyway, I have the candle lit, and as we light this candle on the physical plane, it grows with power and intensity on the spiritual plane, preparing us for times that are now. Remember, you don't have to be filthy rich to stand on business. Clock it. Down but under I say cool, keep spinning and turning in Gani Iyanko Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God Goddess. And if I am, you know you are. Bound and round, both circle and square, we too speak life, so operations beware. Sending healing to those in despair, El Babosoa, which means we come in peace, no harm to any. Leilem Leilar. This candle is representative of the Trinity, the Mother, the Father, the offspring, past, present, and future. Again, as I blow out this candle on the physical plane, it grows with intensity on the spiritual plane, preparing us for times that are now. Love y'all. Later. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for everybody who contributed to the conversation. 100% pure love. Coco, Anandi. Thank y'all so much. And thank you everybody else. Natasha Tori, who was on the live earlier. I love y'all. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.